Chapter 2, Environmental Policy. Commitment with the environmental stewardship. The Army is committed with the environmental stewardship in all actions, an integral part of the mission, and ensures sustainability of regulations, supports Army strategy for the environment. The October 1st, 2004, which presents the Army's environmental vision, sustainable operations and installation system communities, and enabling the Army mission under the strategy. Army environmental mission to sustain environmental to be enabled. The Army mission secure the future, and in doing so, all Army organization activities foster an ethic with the Army that takes beyond environmental compliance with the sustainability strength. The Army operation capable of reducing environmental footprint through the more sustainable practices, meet current and future training, field testing, and other emission requirements by sustaining land, air, and water resources, minimizing impact, total ownership costs for the Army system, material, facilities, operations, integrating principles and practices, sustainability, enhancing well-being of the soldiers, civilians, families, neighbors, communities, and through their leadership and sustainability, using innovative technology principles and sustainability to meet users' needs and anticipated future Army challenges. 122 Army Environmental Policy Statement. All organization activities will comply with the applicable federal, state, local law, environmental law regulations, executive orders, and oversee final governing standards. Developing and implementation pollution prevention control strategies, and establishing environmental priority and consideration benefits of sustainment and the mission and operations. All organization activities will strive to achieve the continual improvement in overall environmental performance supporting management system. All Army organization will ensure the policy implemented and maintained communicated to all military civilian employees and supporting contractors. In addition, the policy will be read available to the public upon request. All contractor modifications will specify the contractors are applicable to all enforcement actions, fines, penalties resulting from the failure to comply with the applicable environmental law regulations. 2.3 Legal requirements. All references to legal requirements for the regulation are intended to refer to the law, regulations, executive orders that use an opinion of legal counsel applicable to the Army. While most environmental laws apply to the Army, and some might include the exemptions and provisions requesting exemptions for the military activities under the certain conditions, it is essential for the Army Council, including but not limited to the Office of Advocate General and Army Environmental Law Division, and may be consulted with the applicable laws, regulations, initiatives, and executive orders similar all permanent agreements and notice with violation enforcement actions, especially reports potential liability under the paragraph 16.4, require early and closure coordination with the Army Legal Counsel with responsibility for the direct support of the command activities necessary legal counsel, the installation level with the coordinated with the issues, position with the appropriate Army legal chain, and precedent setting and the pending with all enforcement actions agreements must be coordinated with the Judge Advocate General of our Army Environmental Law Division. The requirement to consult with the legal counsels supporting the command and actively consider the essential part effectively using this regulation. In addition, with the regulation prescribed, the program requires the terms will and must, which mean the actions must are mandatory. All Army's organization will incorporate environmental coordination and consideration requirements and with all aspects of organization mission. Chapter 3, Planning and Implementation. Installation Strategic Planning. Environmental consideration must be incorporated into installation plans, including installation strategic plans. Installation strategic plans incorporate the concept, philosophy, sustainability. Ultimately, objective strategic planning must be made, applied to, and supported to by all functions areas with command. Installation strategic plan is logic to the term of the planning of the process, establishing baseline direction for all other plans. Planning of the process, including the real property master plans, human resource plans, information for technology, knowledge, and management plans, environmental management plans, functional business plans, etc. Guidance for the plans is provided by the Headquarters Installation Management Command, or the Headquarters of IMCOM, National Guard Bureau, Army National Guard, and the 4th Special Unit Installations, U.S. Army Command, and Army Surface Component Command Direct Reporting Unit. This includes the synthesizing and aligning of the pertinent information for the Army plan with the Army Strategic Plan, accordance with planning guidance, and Army program budgeting guidance and policies. Other strategic guidance for the organization mission, vision, and values, principle, strategy, mass balances, scorecards, and so forth. The garrison commander applies with the guidance as his or her own operations and through the installation strategic planning process. 3.2 Activities, products, and services of the Army mans, equipment, and trains and sustain, mobilize, deploy, demobilize areas of the forces needed to support the combat commands. The chief of the foregoing that requires the Army to undertake the number of activities to provide with the various products and the services that include but are not limited to listed by the mission functional area, Western system acquisition, including major system acquisition phases of concept, technology development, system development, demonstration, production, development, operations, support, demilitarization, disposal. 2. Logistics support, including the acquisition, storage, distribution, recovery of all the classes that supply with the maintenance of material and equipment, the transportation, personal material, provision of the support services such as food and commissary, laundries, and property disposal. Training, including the providing with the conducting the individual functional organizational, both tactical, non-tactical training, infrastructure development, maintenance, including the total time and the total system of the function, facilities, building, structures, horizontal portion, transportation facilities, roads, railroads, bridges, dams, and airfields, utility, transportation, communication system, arranged to other training areas, ports, airfields, associated lands, equipment, and facilities that is real property, operation, and maintenance, to include the utilities, construction, general engineering support, industrial operations, including the manufacturing commodities, and equipment of the weapon system, base operations and support, including all the activities required to accomplish the mission and function of the assigned to the tenant units, activity with the installation level, health and medical support, including to provide with the general health care and medical dental support to the personnel, as well as the operation maintenance of the Army Hospital Medical Center and dental and veterinary clinics of medical treatment and facilities supporting laboratory. Transportation equipment, including tactical, non-tactical vehicles, fixed and rotary wing aircraft, rail systems, watercraft, and supporting maintenance operations, mobilization, deployment, including assembly, organization, material, repair, resources, and responsible for war and other emergencies, including low-intensity conflict and military operations other than war, the physical movement of those resources, and the threat of operations. The research, development, testing, and evaluation, including the demonstrated validation, technology, transfer of the material, equipment, the weapon system of the Army, proving ground of the laboratories and related facilities. 3.3. Important environmental aspects. Environmental aspects also elements of the product activities service that interact with the environment. Important with the environmental aspects are those that result in emission environmental impacts that may include but are not limited to the air emissions and fugitive from stacks, including but not limited to the clear air protection, critical pollutions, carbon dioxide, nitrous oxide, sulfur oxide, ozone, particulate particles, and lead at combustion, gases, volatile organic compounds, or hazardous air pollutants. Generation of noise, vibration, odor, dust, heat, and mold, and light, and radiation, or other nuisances, activities. Discharge, disposal, point of the non-point, and spills of the releases of soil and ground, and other surface waters, including sewage, sediment, and solid waste, and hazardous other waste. Natural resource alteration, that is consumption and conservation, including water, timber, mineral soils, and so forth. Those include the acquisition of goods and services that affect the consumption of the natural resource, ecological resource erosion, including wetland, endangered species protection, destruction, cultural resource alteration, including historical properties, archaeological sites, and sacred sites, and properties of the traditional cultures, religious importance of the American Indians, Alaska Natives, and Native Hawaiians. 7. The engineering consumption and conservation, including the electricity, fossil alternative fuels, renewable energy such as solar energy, all appropriate facilities, as well as establish, maintain procedures, identifying the environmental aspects, operation, activity, product, service, their control over the expected, the influence, and determine which have and can have impacts on the mission over the environment. That will include the maintaining specifically the defensible information of inventories, facilities, resource, environmental aspects, including the geographical spatial information for the spatial location, exemption for the effects of the impact of the mission and or other environmental installation, may evaluate the liabilities concerning the governmental tenants to determine whether that they can be exempt from the initial environmental management system. See the aspects related to the import and will be considered with the setting of the environmental objects of the appropriate organizational level. The addition appropriate facilities will consider the process external communication with the other important environmental aspects, documentation of their decision regarding external communication. Acquisition program and should ensure that weapon systems are designed so that they can be tested, operated, maintained, repaired, and disposed of in accordance with the applicable environmental safety, occupational health statutes, regulation, policies, environmental treaty, and agreements. 3.4. Environmental objects of targets. An environmental object is an overall environmental goal arising from the environmental policy, which is an organization set for itself and achieved, which is quantified with practical, for example, to reduce hazardous waste disposal by a certain amount of environmental target with detailed performance requirement for quantified, but the practical applicable with this organization part of their arise environmental objective that need to be set off to meet the objective of for example, the reduce of the hazardous waste disposal with a certain amount of a certain point in time. Environmental objects of the target will be developed in consideration of impacts of the Army operation. Installation activities will establish, maintain environmental objectives of the target's operation, while the activities potential with the important mission of the environmental impact objectives and targets will be established with the relative function level, and the organization will meet the Department of Defense measure of meters, Army level program targets, goals, objects, targets, and long-term strategic goals, legal and other requirements, important environmental aspects, technological opinions, financial operational requirements, views of the interested parties. As appropriate, Headquarters Department of Army will disseminate detailed Army-level program goals, objectives, targets, their period publication, updated with the appropriate plans, directive guidance to the documentation. 3.5. Operational controls and installation activities will identify the operation activities associated with the important environmental aspects and manage them consistent with the established policy and objective targets. Installation activities will be established, maintain documented standing authorization procedures to avoid unacceptable environmental impacts for these operation activities. Contracting officers should ensure the contracting provisions are consistent with the standard authorization procedure. 3.6. Emergency prepared response and installation activities will establish, maintain procedures to identify the potential for and respond to accidents, emergency situation, preventing the mitigation environmental impacts that may be associated with them. The procedures will be tested periodically. Installation activities will review and revise when necessary. Emergency orders response with the procedure, particularly with the critical views revision, should be conducted after the occurrence of the accidents of the emergency situations management programs. Appropriate facilities will establish, maintain management programs. See Chapter 414 for achieving objectives. Targets will track the measuring progress toward achieving them. As a minimum, program management programs will designate responsible for achieving objective targets to each other relevant in the organizational level, specify the means and time frame which they are to be achieved. And appropriate facilities will the targets objectives to be measure the continual improvement. 4. Environmental asset management.